Masks. They seem to be all the controversy and mixed up with so much politics during the coronavirus pandemic. But doctors, experts, scientists, they all say the evidence is there and it's real. Masks prevent the spread of the virus and they are urging you to wear them. Jamali from Enviro SafeTech talks about masks and which one is right for you. Jay, it's so good to have you back here again. And I have to be honest, I'm a bit shocked that we're still talking about masks and face coverings months into the pandemic.
You're not alone. We have been on this kick of masks since February, and it feels kind of a lost cause sometimes when you look at the screen and you see these gatherings and there are thousands of people not wearing masks, standing right next to each other and shouting. And when you look at like South Korea, they really didn't shut down. All they did is they said, hey, everybody wear a mask, and if you don't have a mask, we won't let you in. And guess what? Our numbers are 20 to 30 times worse than theirs. And there's just one small difference, is that masks.
When the pandemic started months ago, I remember at that time, even because I'm a listener. So when public officials say, hey, you don't really need the mask, I tend to listen to people who are experts. I remember at the beginning, even my husband and I kind of got into it because he was saying, you need to wear a mask, when public officials were saying, you don't need it. I remember it as clear as day of them repeating it. And I was repeating it on TV over and over and over again. Fast forward so many months, now it's become mandated in some states. What happened? Why the change? And could we understand what may have caused the confusion that right now we're getting pushback from so many people?
I don't think it was confusion. I think it was for two reasons. One was political and one was technical. So from a political standpoint, if you visualize your elected official, your president, is wearing a mask, what does that symbolize? Trouble, right? So consequently, politically speaking, because of reasons that are known to everyone, the certain leaders did not wear the mask because they didn't want to show as if there was a problem. So that's the political aspects of wearing or not wearing a mask. The technical side was you had medical personnel that we trust, such as the CDC and the Surgeon General, whom in the past we've used as our barometer as to what to do, what not to do. Guess what? They were saying, you don't need a mask. Well, now, after the fact, they've all come out and said, the reason we said you don't need a mask was not that you didn't need a mask. It was because we didn't have enough masks, and we were worried if we said everybody needs to wear a mask, as all these other countries are doing, and us having no masks, then there would be a run on it, and the people who needed the most would not have any. So that's the political and technical answers as to why those people you listen to did not say the right thing. And I am very proud of your husband for being smart enough to think on his own or talk to some people and say, hey, is he an engineer by any chance?
He is an engineer.
There you go.
He's an engineer. He's been one step ahead of us. And every time I'm like, but they said this, and he just keeps, and he's just like, and now we went to the masks and the face coverings. And this is where your expertise comes in. I mean, you know how these work. And Jay, I'll be honest, I can't tell you how many times we've gone on the news and we've had experts, doctors, physicians, scientists, all kinds of people like you on the show that talk about the effectiveness. And I'm wearing, this is just one of those that you pull up, that I can pull up over my nose, and how easy they've made it. But there's people that still message me and say, you should be ashamed of yourself. These don't work. You should be ashamed of yourself for telling people to wear masks. Do they really work? That's a basic question. Do they work?
So unfortunately, there are certain questions, especially safety related, that is very difficult to answer with a yes or no. For example, are we safe right now? The answer is it depends. What do you compare it to? If you're comparing it to 10 years ago, no, we're not as safe because COVID's here. And if you're thinking about when there is a potential missile attack coming, like the Hawaiians heard that there's missiles coming, they have 30 minutes to live. And so was it really safe? Well, the answer is yes, because there was no missile coming, but they all thought they're going to die. So today you did not get up and tell your husband, I think I'm going to be back today. I may or may not, because you took a risk this morning. You got in your car and you drove somewhere. So what we have to look for, what's called an acceptable level of safety. So the mask that you have on is not there to really protect you. It is there to protect others. Okay.
From
because
me.
what happens, exactly, the people around you. So you are protecting others. If others wear their mask and protect you, guess what? It multiplies. It is so much more powerful and effective when everyone wears a mask. Now, as soon as there is one person within 6 feet of you that's not wearing a mask, you are protecting that person, but that person is exposing you to a risk. How much of a risk is dependent upon a few things. Is he talking? Is he shouting? Is he coughing? Is he sneezing? Okay. And how close they are to you. All those variables move your risk up and down, okay? Because there's nothing that's perfectly safe that we can do in this world, okay? So it's dependent upon variables, and these are the variables. So it can't be a yes or no answer, but my problem is with the perception that by putting that face covering, you're protecting yourself. And therefore you take bigger risks than you should. You will get closer. You'll go into areas where there's higher risk. Okay.
It's a lot to digest and a lot to think. And then while you're saying all this, I think that this is just such an easy ask for people just to put a covering on. I mean, and this isn't about me. This is about like almost a symbol to say, you know what, I got you. I'm here to protect you as well with just a simple covering. I've heard some people send messages to me and say, I can't breathe. I feel claustrophobic. My immune system is going to go down. There's no point of these. I've often paused and thought, well, then why do doctors wear it when they're in surgery? Why do people in construction wear it? Why do painters wear it? There's obviously something with these masks. They've been around for years.
Okay, doctors, surgical mask, right? This is to protect the patient mostly and protect the doctor a little bit. So what we did is that we installed a probe into it. We put it on a person and we tested outside and inside. And we got about a 5% efficiency. What that means is that it took out what's outside and made it 5% less on the inside. So 95% got through, 5% didn't get through.
Okay.
So that's why we call it 5% efficiency. Now, a lot of us have heard of N95s.
Yes.
What does that mean? We did the same thing. We put a probe on it and we put it on a person and it's 95% efficient. That means whatever's outside is 95% efficient, doesn't come in, and only 5% get in. Okay. So that's the difference between a surgical mask and this. Now, if I told you that I would like you to protect yourself and other people, which one of these two would you wear?
The N95.
There you go. Simple answer, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Is that 95% is better than 5%. Okay. But here is the issue, is that sometimes people mix up a KN95 and a N90, a KN95 and an N95. Okay. The way you can tell the difference between them is that the straps of the N95, the KN95 only go to the ear. okay? Whereas the straps for the KN95 are much longer and they go behind your neck and head, okay?
What would the
That's a
K95 be?
It's the Chinese version. If you have seen it, Korea, China, the usage of masks has been common quite a bit as a result of SARS.
Mhm.
And so they are much more prepared for it. So it's the Chinese version of the N95, but unfortunately the KN95, which we tested, again, same thing, we put a probe into it, we had a person wear it, and then we compared it to a N95. We got 95% efficiency here. We got about 25% efficiency here. Okay, so if you can wear a KN95, I prefer that you wear a KN95 as compared to a surgical mask. The fit is everything. So when you wear a surgical mask, it doesn't really fit you well. You'll see that on the sides that it's really open, whereas the KN95 gives you a better seal, and of course the N95 gives you the best seal. And of course their efficiencies are appropriate. Last one that you're wearing, okay, and again, it's dependent upon the materials that you find
I
in
have
them.
all kind around here.
There
My
you go.
house is full.
There oh, that is very sophisticated. I like that. That
Very-
matches your outfit too, just like the other one. The problem with these are, again, we put a probe inside of it and we tested it, and it's only about a 2% efficiency inside the mask. So it's really people wear it because of its comfort, the fact that it's cheap and they can, wash it in the and reuse it. So that's why people use it. So even this will protect others, okay? But the point is that it doesn't really protect you, okay?
Masks are going to be around for a while.
Yes, yes. So anticipate that until the vaccine comes out, it has at least 80% efficiency. Until we get better therapeutics for people that do get it, until then, masks are going to be a way of life. And I guarantee you that once the political aspect of masks leaves, the people that will, it's kind of like asking people and saying, well, that kind of infringes on my personal right, right?
Mhm.
So do you say that about helmet laws? Most states have a helmet law for motorcycles. Do you say, well, I get helmet hair and I don't want to wear a helmet and that is my personal right? No, you don't. Seatbelt laws, what we've seen that any state that puts in a seatbelt law, and guess what? The number of fatalities drop, okay? So do you say, well, I think I should be able to choose if I wear a seatbelt or not? So those people that bring up this personal freedom issue, really, I don't think they have a leg to stand on. They have no right to expose others to this risk.
But partly is that there are a lot of people that have a non-belief in science right now, a non-belief in listening to doctors and scientists and public health officials, comment after comment after comment. And we were just talking about it just a few minutes ago, that you see these images. I see it on my own social media account. People who are friends, they're standing in groups of 20, 30 people, no mask, no social distancing, standing right next to one another. And I often wonder, do they not think that they can get this? Do they not think this is real?
That's a great observation. And unfortunately, in the countries in which they enforced that's, shelter in place, you can't come out, you got to wear a mask. Within a month, it flattened out and their baselines went to, very small numbers. In the United States, we did a shelter in place and it kind of brought things down, but then we opened back up right away. So our baseline is 20,000 people infected every day, okay? And you can take 100 countries and put them together and they won't have 20,000. The only reason is what we talked about. Wear your mask and you have to distance yourself from others. You can't congregate. And so all the sacrifice we did for, shutting down businesses and laying off all those people and having double-digit unemployment rate, all went to naught because, the virus uses us as food and transportation. That's all you are to it. And they outnumber us, okay? So the only thing we have is what? Is our brain to tell us what to do. And it's the science that is going to get us out of this. It's the mass that's going to get us out of this, but not until our leadership starts wearing it too.
If people want to do something to protect themselves, to protect their families, what is the best advice you can give them, especially at a time where not everybody is on board and not everybody is doing the same thing? What is the best thing that you can do when you're going out, when you want to see your family? What mask do you wear and how do you protect yourself?
Nothing less than a KN95. Either an N95 or a KN95 should be your go-to, okay? Now, some people say, I can't find N95s. Yes, I understand that, okay? But all of you can find KN95s. It can be shipped to you overnight. You can go into any drugstore and they're selling them, okay? And get at least 3 of them, wear one today, set it aside, wear another one, and then next day wear another one, and then come back to the first one, because by then all the bugs are dead, okay? And so that's called aging. So if you don't want to spend $5 every day on your mask, you can rotate them out and they will last a much longer period of time.
They can be reused?
Yes. And at these times, I believe that you can use your KN95 multiple times. The only thing is, don't wash it, don't put chemicals on it, don't put it in direct sunlight. So just hang it somewhere, let the air will kill those bugs. Give it at least 24 hours and you can reuse that mask in a civilian setting. In a professional setting, such as hospitals, clinics, and what have you, N95 means there's an 8-hour time frame associated with it. There's also a P100, which we wear in the professional setting, okay? The P100 means it's 100% efficient and it is unlimited service time. That means I can continue wearing this until the cartridges fill up. And it usually takes, in most industrial settings, takes anywhere from 30 days to 120 days, depending what you're doing. And so a lot of hospitals are now switching to this. Actually, last night I saw that they were wearing this while they were testing COVID, they were doing COVID testing. So it's good. They're starting to use this in the medical setting more. But still, as I said, this is N95s are difficult to come by. These are, usually used in the industrial setting, professional settings. But this KN95, even though it has only a 25% efficiency, it is 5 times better than the mask that you had on. And they are available. Yes, they're very stylish, but not as effective. This is especially true if you go places where some people are not wearing their gear, okay? And just as a reminder, what you want to do is make sure you always sanitize your hand, okay? Or wash your hand, then put on your mask, then go do your thing. Then go ahead and sanitize your hand, remove your mask, and then after you remove your mask, sanitize your hands again, okay? Because a lot of times the filter is a magnet for the virus. And so if you touch the outside of that, guess what? You've got the virus on your hand. So that's why I want you to sanitize after removal of your mask.
All of this information is so valid. I think I learn something every single day, and I follow the news to the T. Jay, we appreciate your time. And before I let you go, for anybody who still might be skeptical of these face coverings, and especially come in the next few weeks as we're starting to see the numbers drastically rise in the United States and in some parts, especially here now in California, Arizona, Florida, Texas, what would be your final message to people who are saying these masks don't work, face coverings they don't work, they're useless?
Common sense is looking at a respiratory hazard such as the coronavirus, okay? And how does it get into you? can't get through your skin, can't get through your head. It can only get in through your nose and your mouth when you inhale it, and it goes inside. Then guess what we become? We become food to replicate those viruses, and we become transportation. We Uber it around, and then when we cough, guess what? We make somebody else become food and transportation. So the only way to prevent this virus from reaching out and infecting others as well as surfaces is to cover your face. So when I tell people that come into my house, they were coming in to do cleaning, I said, great, put on a mask when you come in, sanitize your hand before you come in. Very simple, they do their work, they leave. We had a vendor come in to replace our broken window, and she came in, and first thing she said is, can you guys put on your masks? Because I go to a lot of places, and she put on her mask, and Nisha put on her mask, and we protected each other, and we did it, and we moved on. Minimal risk, if any. So this is not rocket science, folks. Wear your damn mask.
You say it so simply and so well. Jay, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You've been listening to It Is What It Is with Shali Zomarodi. You can join in and ask your questions live on Shali's Facebook or Instagram page. You can find so much more by following Shali on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and by visiting shalD.com.